All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to my Morrowind. I'm here over in Tane. I'm on the mainland. Yes, I am on the mainland. I thought I would just do a quick walkthrough along the coast, and in this video I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the Morrowind lore, which is so fascinating. The Elder Scrolls lore in general. What exactly is the Elder Scrolls? Gosh, I really gotta clear my throat for this one. Alright, guys, stay tuned, because here it comes. I don't really need to sing, because there's music in the background already, I know that. Well, anyway, let me cast my water walking spell. Now, Morrowind is kind of a unique game in the Elder Scrolls universe, especially when it comes to lore. It's unique because, I have Daggerfall and I started playing it. I have like modded Daggerfall and I'm doing that Daggerfall Unity. I use Daggerfall Unity. And it's actually really awesome, but hold on, let me cast my invisibility spell so I'm not like fighting a creature every 5 seconds. Daggerfall in general is actually a pretty awesome game. In some ways, one of my other videos I've talked about, how much better Morrowind's leveling system is than Skyrim, for example, and on par with Oblivion. Oblivion kind of cleaned it up a tad bit, but it also introduced the perks. But Daggerfall, its leveling system is more complicated in some ways. There's like an added sort of like random aspect to it, like dice rolls and stuff, like when you're doing your initial creation. But Daggerfall, for example, separates its athletic skill into running and swimming. So running and swimming are two different skills in Daggerfall. They also have a climbing mod. It's not a mod, it's a part of the base game. But, there's climbing mods for Morrowind, not yet for OpenMW, but for MG, XE, whatever. They have that. Maybe one day they'll make a climbing mod for Morrowind. It's only in first person. But, OpenMW is the future. So, I believe that. And it's just so awesome. Anyway, the thing about Daggerfall is that the story in Daggerfall is actually pretty awesome. It really depends upon how in-depth you go with the story. You're talking about a time when, who is it? Uriel Septims, to give you guys kind of some context for those of you who are not really super familiar with it. And by no means, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not like an expert or anything. But Uriel Septim the Seventh is the emperor in every Elder Scrolls game. And, in Daggerfall, he's, if I recall, I believe he's, is he kidnapped or something, or, geez Louise, I don't remember now. But anyway, it goes back into, he's descendant from Tiber Septim, who it goes on to become Talos. Now, there's a concept in Morrowind called the Psijic Endeavor, which in Skyrim it's alluded to with the Psijic Order, which is a predecessor to the Mages Guild. But it has nothing to do with the Psijic Endeavor. The Psijic Endeavor is a sort of like way in which anyone can attain godhood. And when you want to talk about godhood, Morrowind does that right. Like, obviously, Oblivion and then Skyrim watered all that down, and in Morrowind you can create like crazy godlike spells to do just about anything. I mean, I'm already pretty much god mode. I have Sobatur's a facility. I'll give you a little reference. Sobatur is this little island up here. But I did a playthrough with it on my current character. I'm only level 73. And I'm on the hardest difficulty. Where am I? Where is it? Yeah, right here, difficulty. And, I mean, it was still challenging, but, and I died a few times, but, you can attain God mode in Morrowind. And why would you want to do it? It makes it unplayable, some people say. Well, there's mods. There's mods that you can add to make the game even more exciting, and more challenging. Like, there are mods for Vivek to make him, like, really, really powerful. So, that's the point. You have this sort of, like, unlimited capacity to develop your character, and, one mod that I haven't downloaded yet, but I want to, is called the Pool of Forgetfulness. So you can, like, unlevel your skills and then re-level them back up, so which affects your attributes and stuff, or like your health and fatigue and magicka and stuff like that. So you can constantly grow yourself. And Oblivion and Skyrim just took all that away. It's like kind of lame. I don't know. I just felt like the unlimited potential for power in Morrowind, as long as you're willing to put the work into grind, and you can do alchemy, obviously, quote unquote, breaks the game, but you know what? It still takes time. Like, you can level up. Let's compare it to other RPGs, okay? Seriously, let's have this debate right now. Because people are like, oh, alchemy breaks Morrowind and Elder Scrolls. No, it doesn't. How long does it take to level your character to the max in World of Warcraft? Like, a couple days? Seriously, a couple days, that's it. So, even with abusing, quote-unquote, alchemy in Morrowind, it's still going to take you several days to min-max your character. And that's through abusing alchemy. You don't even have to abuse alchemy if you don't want to. So, you put the time and the effort into it, you can make the magic happen. And using a sort of strange comparison, I just feel like Morrowind, if we were to compare Morrowind in Oblivion and Skyrim to, like, socioeconomic systems, I'd say Morrowind is like a capitalist system, and like Oblivion and Skyrim are like a communist system, where you have this like oversight saying, no, you can't be that powerful, that's not fair. That's how I feel like it would, like, when I played Morrowind, or I'm sorry, Oblivion. I was like, what? They took all this away? They took a lot of it away anyway. And I'm like, that's lame. I don't even want to play this game. I did anyway. And then it just made me want to play Morrowind more. And then I played Skyrim, vanilla Skyrim, and I'm like, look, man, the vanilla graphics of Skyrim, I don't care how good of, like, surface detail they are, they don't look as good as modded Morrowind. It's not as colorful. Like, the colors looks like brown and, like, silvery. Like, what in the world? Like, I don't even want to play that game. So anyway, let's get back to lore. Sorry, I go on my tangents about things because people don't want to play Morrowind. And I'm like, you are missing out. So anyway, the lore of Daggerfall. The lore of Daggerfall is interesting. Like, putting it short, as short and sweet as I can. You have the Mantella. It centers around the Mantella and Tiber Septim and the Underking and somebody. I think it was his wizard, Tiber Septim's wizard. What was his name? Starts with a Z. I don't remember. They basically took parts of their souls together to enchant the Mantella because it was the only thing that could power the Numidium. Right? It was the only thing that could power the Numidium. While I talk, you guys are probably getting bored of me just exploring, so I'm going to find a dungeon to delve and then try and talk while I do that. So anyway, the heart of Lorcan is what powered the original Numidium, which in Morrowind is Ochlathon, or I forgot what it's called, but the thing that Dagath-Ur has. So, long story short, Lorcan's heart is in Red Mountain, and, Tiber Septim couldn't have access to it because Vivek wouldn't let him, blah, blah, blah. Vivek gave him the Numidium, but he didn't give him the heart of Lorcan because he didn't tell him or something like that, because he didn't want him to have control. So what he did was Tiber had him, had his mage. Oh, what do we got going on here? Yeah, take that. Tiber had his mage, enchant the Mantella and create the Mantella to power the Numidium so they could control Tamriel. Right, blah, blah, blah. So, and that's cool. And then Daggerfall, you get control over the Mantella, and then you have like this open-ended world where you have to decide who you give the Mantella to. And that's really, really cool. And it works because of the inherent lore of Morrowind, or the Elder Scrolls universe in general, is that of, breaking time. Multiple times, multiple universes occurring simultaneously. They call it the Dragon Break in Skyrim. So, all that's kind of running in the background of the Elder Scrolls lore. And the thing about it is that in Daggerfall, you're kind of like the hero. As well, it's similar to Oblivion, where you're the hero who helps the Emperor. I don't know what this is over here. Some kind of swampy area. By the way, Tamriel Rebuilt. I am on Tamriel Rebuilt, like I mentioned. But you'll see this looks kind of like a mesh conflict where it just ends. That's just because it hasn't been finished. So that's normal. Don't freak out if you download Tamriel Rebuilt. That's normal. But anyway, you help the Emperor, like in Oblivion. You help the Emperor defeat Mehrunes Dagon. And then that's it. It's like you're the hero, and it's kind of cool, but spoiler alert, stop this video now if you don't want to ruin the story for Morrowind, but it turns out that you are the potential reincarnation of God Nuravar that you didn't even realize pretty much like most of the time you're playing the game. And it was Nuravar's job to defeat Dagath-Ur, which something happened, he couldn't, or, then the Dwemer, were fiddling around with Lorcan's heart. They disappeared because when you fiddle around with Lorcan's heart, you create a dragon break or a rip in space-time. So they vanished. Their entire race vanished. And you're wrapped up in this whole mystery of trying to figure out, where they went, and you find there's one last remaining Dwemer in the game of Morrowind. And you meet him later on. He plays a role in the main game. But, it was just an incredible story. Like, you don't even really understand that what you're doing essentially in Morrowind is you're pursuing the Psijic Order. You are a humanoid, whatever character that you want to play, and you're pursuing godhood, and that's the point. Some people complain that the god mode you can attain in Morrowind breaks the game. Well, that's the point. It's absolutely the point, because you are the reincarnation of Nuravar. What are you talking about, crazy? Let me go into this rune over here. I have a mod for the inside of Daedric runes. The meshes look a lot better. Yeah, this is SVNR, that same guy who did the caves. This sound file is actually from the movie Interstellar, by the way. But in any case, yeah, I mean, God mode, let's talk about it. The fascinating thing, philosophically speaking, about Morrowind 2 is that, I recall in, my last playthroughs, or that, Vivek sort of talks to you about, there's always a question, even when you go to the Ashlander tribes, there's this. Actually, you know what? Let me fight him. Let me fight him for you guys, because you want to see that. It's so exciting. Oh no, it's a conjurer. Oh, you want to do some magic? Okay. Take my absorb health spell that is like a one-hit KO. Totally overpowered, but, you know, whatever. I also have Oblivion sound mods too, music mods. This should sound familiar to you guys. This song that's currently playing. Oh, I have to switch back to my invisibility. Okay, anyway, so, yeah, the philosophical preponderance of Morrowind that was so fascinating to me was that, you know, you basically become this god, and it's similar. What you do and achieve in Morrowind is what Talos or Tiber Septim achieved in becoming Talos. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so we're not gods, we're not born gods, but who is truly more powerful? A god that is born a god, or a human that becomes a god? Whether that's through enchantments, and you could say that that's cheating. And you know, that's why a lot of like the human races like Talos, because it kind of gives them the idea of, oh, there's a chance that maybe I can attain godhood too. But you know, the high elves, you know, this is lore centered narration, but you know, high elves are more kind of like snooty, like, oh, well, you know, Talos should be banned and things like that because he's not a real god, blah blah blah. So that's up to you. I mean, we saw the manifestation of Akatosh through, you know, Talos's amulet in Oblivion, so, you know, there must be some kind of, like, spiritual connection that can be ascertained in the story of the Elder Scrolls universe. And that's the open and running dialogue within the game. You know, who's truly a god? One who is born that way, or one who, you know, strives to achieve that. And the thing that I loved about Morrowind 2 is that, by the way, I know there's like a Pond Scum retexture, but I didn't bother with it because I think this looks fine. Like I said, I'm a minimalist, and you know, I care more about like having a smooth game than like having like the best graphics like all over the place. But what I was saying is, you know, in Morrowind, when you're talking to the Ashlanders and Vivek, there's this idea that you might not actually be the reincarnation of Vivek, even after you become Nerevarine and you finish the main quest, because, you know, all we can say for sure is that you achieved and did what the Nerevarine prophecies said would happen. We don't know if, in fact, you are the reincarnation of Nerevar. And it leaves this open-ended, like, preponderance of, oh, like, am I Nerevar? Or what does that mean? What does it mean to be a god? And it has applications philosophically to, you know, our own world religions, like Christianity. Like Jesus was, you know, some people believe that Jesus was God. Some people believe Jesus was a man. Some people believe Jesus was the Son of God. Some people believe that Jesus didn't even exist. And those people are wrong, because he did. He, at very least, whatever you believe, he was a man, and he did walk the earth. So I'm not going to get into all that right now, but we're talking about Elder Scrolls. But my point is, you know, the lore of Elder Scrolls has some kind of allusion to the Judeo-Christian and Abrahamic faiths, like that of what's going on between Judaism, Christianity, and, you know, the high elves are like the Jews. They're like, oh, Jesus, man can't be a god. And then Christians are like, oh yeah, they totally can. You know what I mean? Just go talk to a priest and say you're sorry, and then you basically go to heaven. But, well, you know what? I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. It probably sounds like I'm making fun of people. But I don't want to do that here. But in any case, you know, that's up to you guys, whatever you believe. And the same dialogue and dynamic is going on in the Morrowind universe, and it can be applicable. And for me, Morrowind actually helped me make sense of that dialogue in the Abrahamic faiths. But anyway, I hope I didn't bore you all to death. If you're still watching this, you're probably like interested in Mythopoeia, or Mythopia, the lore and mythological creation stories and things like that, which I'm into, like Greek mythology, Indian mythology, Hindu mythology, Nordic mythology. Like, they're all stories that have philosophical, moral, and ethical, premises to them. And I just really enjoyed Morrowind because you're not just left as like kind of like the hero of the game. You are the main character. Like, you fulfill an incredible prophecy that no one believes in. And interestingly, even though you did fulfill the prophecy, what does that even mean? You fulfilled the prophecy. Maybe that doesn't mean that you are Nuravar or his incarnate. You just did everything that the books said would happen. And you can even apply that to your own life. You know what I mean? Like, why limit yourself to, being a bystander in life? Like, take the reins and become better. Advance yourself. So now I sound like a therapist, and that's okay because, therapy's good. I play Morrowind. Morrowind is my therapy. I don't drink or do drugs or anything like that. When I'm stressed out, I go into my Morrowind, and I experience the world of Morrowind the way, I should. Let's go check out this Dunmer. I don't think I went inside any, like, Dunmer. What am I saying? Dunmer. Dwemer.
Please, by all means.
Zenovitus. Okay, cool. So, by the way, I do have a face mod, and it's not this. This is vanilla faces, but Tamriel Rebuilt doesn't. It doesn't have my face mod, but the face mod that I have is actually really good. So anyway, excavation site, keep out. Oh, really? So here are my rock mods from SVNR. So he does such a good job. Let's see what's going on in here. Who's in here? No bad guys?
By all means, I'm listening.
That looks like... Whoa! You're not a member of the Imperial Archaeological Society. Thought you could steal the artifacts from under our noses, did you? You've got another thing coming, thief. I swear to God, I just stumbled in here. Please. You know what? Hold on. Calm humanoid. I got this. I'm not going to hurt this guy. Okay, I'm outie. So, and actually, maybe I can sneak past him. Because I want to show you guys, like, the inside of the... So you can see I opened the door and there's 2 doors. That's probably because I have some, like, Dwemer mods. And that's okay. Again, I open a door, there's another door there. Sometimes that happens. Little bugs here and there. There's a lot more bugs that I've had to sift through in my game than, oh, look at this guy. So anyway, I really like this song. It's a battle song. How am I supposed to get through here? I don't know. Hold on, let me check the map. Anyway, I guess I'll leave you guys with that. I don't want this video to run like forever. So I'm going to sign off now, and hopefully that was cool for you guys and you enjoyed it. So thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you next time.